The ancestors are calling, a dark night's been falling all across this troubled land. I'm looking up at the gateway, watching hate take our fate away. The blood of Montgomery is all still on denying hands. The darkness is a curtain put in place by the blind. The only prisoners left is the one inside your mind, and that's why rivers of blood, it runs through me. Rivers of mud, it runs through me. Rivers of stolen choices, it runs through me. Rivers of ancestors' voices, it runs through me. You know, it seems here when dreams are born, they're busy being dying in the hearts of those with so much to give. It's hard to keep a dream alive, living on some politician's jive, while he barters where you want to live. Happiness, it seems that all the way. They tell us we're not the us, but we've got to wait. And I said, rivers of blood, it runs through me. Rivers of mud, it runs through me. The rivers of stolen choices, it runs through me. And rivers of ancestors' voices, it runs through me. It runs through me. It runs through me. Hello, ora mataye, rena da we watio. On se tira la funa la kumbun kio bistino. Hello, ora mataye, rena da terwateng ba ni kuranino imporuno basino mi yifumi wasonogu. Ashe, ashe, haya. They call me OG. No, not original gangster, though I kind of likes that. They gave me the name OG to mean original griot. Now you see, a griot was a being in West Africa, 13th century, who was a traveling poet, musician, teacher, herbalist, and warrior. The female griot was called Jalimuso, or Jalimuso. Muso meaning woman, from the root word Jalaya meaning the craft of the griot. A griot would walk into a village. He would teach the children games and dances. He would tell them stories, sharpen their minds, and uplift their character. To the women, he'd share new recipes, teach them the things to do with new herbs for cooking and healing. To the men, he would talk to them about protecting the village, if it needed be, and news of other villages around. The griot could keep within their memory the names of every person, and their family tree in that village and would recite it upon request. And then go off to the next village and do the same thing. Genius, I tell you, genius. By being of service to the villagers in this way, well, the griot saved whole family histories. And he could resolve misunderstandings between folks on this plane and the next. Yes, I said it. Just because our ancestors ain't no longer here, that don't mean they no longer here. Now, the thing is about being a griot is what usefulness they could bring. Now, you see this here. This is called cascarilla. It is made of powdered eggshell, and we use it to cleanse an environment of all negativity. This and all these little pieces of knowledge come from one of the original religions in Africa. It's called Ifa. Ifa means spiritual guidance. Now, with all of these different things that we've been using, that is how the Africans kept the transmission going, by holding on and passing it. Take, for instance, that prayer I just said. Now, that is said in the language of the Lukumi. Lukumi is the Cuban version of a Nigerian dialect with Yoruba, a language in Nigeria. When the slaves were brought from Nigeria to Cuba and then later to America, well, they used to be in separate sects within their religion. Well, slavery changed all that, didn't it? So now they were all mixed together. So they began to devise ways of communicating to each other so they wouldn't war amongst themselves. The language of Lukumi was one of those ways. So thus, you have these ways. The prayer that I just said, the translation is, Lord of heaven and earth, to bring goodness to us, bring good health to us. Command the waters of heaven that come before us. Lord of heaven, send the breath of goodness and the breath of the ancestors who've gone before to prevent confusion and destruction. Command the waters of heaven to bring improved conditions in your name. Ashe. Now, Ashe, that is the life and breath of all life. We say it at the end of our prayers so that we can infuse them with the life, breath, and movement of spirit. Now, what is spirit? Okay, we're going to try something. Okay? I want y'all to just close your eyes. That's it. That's really nice. That's it. Now, you too. Come on now, I'm watching you. Don't worry, I ain't going to rob you. Maybe. Okay. Now, as we sit there, I want you to feel the wonderful feeling of life that is within all life, all around you. Yes. This is Ashe. Say it with me. Ashe. Good. Good. You can open your eyes now. So, to be like our ancestors, and we adapt, we improvise, we create. Which brings us to our story. You see, sometimes a person can leave this planet and without not having achieved any understanding, forgiveness, or resolution. The energy of that unresolved forgiveness and resolution can stay behind and live in a family for generations. That's why you have some people in your family who may be mad or depressed all the time for no reason at all. Or you might be having somebody, and you know somebody like this, somebody who sit there and starts some trouble and stand back and watch it blow up like a pyromaniac at a house fire. This be what they call negative ancestral contracts. Now, there'll be another person in the family who may not always fit in, who might be quite quirky and sensitive, but they may have a sense of higher reason in negative situations. And years later, whether by circumstances or choice, that person may step in and bring a balance to the family that may have been missing for years. That person is the curse breaker. The curse breaker breaks up or dissolves negative energy patterns in the family and also within the spirit world. Without the divine seeing and balanced actions of a curse breaker, well, these negative energy patterns, they can destroy families, spirits, governments. A curse breaker in a family is divine inspiration's way of re-injecting light and grace back into the illusions of darkness in this world. And for we will all walk the path of the ancestors in time. But right now, this is another time this is a time for learning. Okay? I want you to look inside yourself. Tell me what you see. I'll tell you. Nothing. Now, you may think that you can tell me, well, I got all kinds of memories and people and events and things I got to do tomorrow. But that's only there because you put it there. Now, if you quiet your mouth, your mind might follow. People work hard to get inspired. Why? Because at that moment when inspiration comes, we're closer to the creator of all there is. Some people go to school for inspiration. Some people practice the arts for it. Some people hurt other people just to get a glimpse of it in the tears of another's fear. But I tell you, inspiration, our minds they are incredible. They are full of infinite mansions of possibilities. Inspiration is but a light-filled visitor that only comes to the house when the house is right. And I tell you now, when inspiration does arrive, it's already been decided from a place beyond that sacred nothingness between your eyes. And all we're being asked to do is to believe, receive, and act. Now this be my altar. Another name for the altar is Bovida. Bovida means magic. Why? This is where we call our ancestors so we can pray with them, Don't look at me like that. You know our ancestors are still with us, here and here. Here we offer libations, water, rum, sometimes whiskey. This is how we talk with our ancestors, also called egungun in Yoruba, or egun. We may also offer tobacco as a way of cleansing the space of negative energy, and also maybe to remind our ancestors of the things they might be missing in life. We also can take libation with them too. Where was I? Our story. One early morning, around 1 a.m., November 4th, 1960, the spirit of inspiration entered into the atmosphere of a troubled planet and flew on. And ignoring the ways of humans as she always does, she flew on till she came across some waters looking at a town called St. Louis, Missouri. So the spirit of inspiration flew across the Mississippi, down Washington, over to Sarah, to a hospital called St. Mary's on Papin Street. It was time for a new life. As within all births, the child's ancestors surrounded him and blessed him, along with a couple of protective spirits. And these ancestors knew that this child was going to speak with their voice, a curse breaker of the highest degree. They also saw that he would know loneliness and heartbreak, but he would also know the consolation of sweet inspiration through music. And they knew that he wouldn't give up, for he would never forget who and what he was, and he would never forget them. Thus, we now have 4 beings that come into existence on an exciting, ascended journey on a vertical time axis, past, present, and future, all at once. Now, you may be asking yourselves, why do we need 4 people to tell one man's story? Well, we all got different peoples running around inside of us. And each one of those people has their own story for being around there. But each one of the people that we carry also carries our whole story. So there you go. And after all that, we still have this child coming into being, now with these 4 parts of its soul. And we see sweet inspiration in her smile of light and knowing, merging her visions with the heartbeat of the child, merging her vision with the child's first heartbeat, his first breath, his first song. One of the things that we do forget in this journey in life is the time between our first song and our last. I cannot forget. Hell, I even remember the future. But I got somebody who I wonder if he's going to remember anything at all. Why, he's been studying me, learning from me a little bit. Think he's going to get my skills. He can play that guitar, though, and he carries the soul of the music with him. Why, he got enough talent, anger, ambition, and arrogance to go confidently marching off in the wrong direction. He ain't learned his real lesson yet. It's coming soon. No, here he come. I gotta go. Oh, take forever to get out of this thing. My hand. I used to run faster than this. There was a time. There she is. Oh, nothing prettier. Whoop, there it is. OG, where you at, OG? And I swear sometimes that old man, I think he hides from me. I see you. They call me Strang. Why? Because I can play me some mean guitar. And I sing sweet, you know. That's right. The way I sees it, everybody is a guitar string. And life is the hand that plays us. Now, when the hand of life plays us, the guitar string, and the string sings the note. Well, when the hand of life hits the string, we call that the call. Now, when that string responds and sends that note off, depending on what the situation is, well, we call that the response. So really what it comes down to is, if you decided to ever really sing at all. But if you have decided not to sing, life will have its song. That's the way of things. Now here I sit, ready to move in my life. I was hanging out, and I can play this here guitar all day. Now, I don't know how my music comes to me. I don't know. I don't know what it does. OG be telling me about, what's that chick that brings all the ideas? What's her name? Perspiration or something like that? Yeah, that's it. That's it. Well, I don't know nothing about no perspiration. My mama, though, she'll come to me in my dreams and she'll sing me some beautiful music. Songs like, grace and favor. Now, see, that's something I can bank on. I know that's for real right there. Okay? And I don't know why, I don't know anything about no woman named Perspiration or whatsoever like that. Last time I heard, she was working in a pawn shop on Jefferson and Biddle. I don't know why OG would put his trust in a woman. They leave you. But that's okay. That's all right. Because my heart's intact. When I break through and I'm on everybody's radio, y'all gonna know. Y'all gonna know. And I had just played some stuff for somebody. I got this white dude in a suit from a record company. He heard me play, and he said, Strang, we think you're going to be the next big thing. Well, they see it. They see it. So next thing you know, I signed every paper they had in that office that very day. Next thing, we was in this big studio with a bunch of cats I never met in my whole life. And then we started playing, and they played my music like they was born to it. And didn't even ask me for no money. Soon everybody gonna see it. Everybody gonna know. Now, you see, I'm just gonna keep going on in my life. I'm just gonna keep on working in my songs. So ladies, you don't want none of the string right now. I'm a little bruised, but this diamond is still shining. Right now, I'm just damaged goods. Reached out for you, and remember last night you said goodbye. So I grabbed my pants, stepped out, and saw the sun. What you said broke my heart, but I ain't the only one, 'cause I'm damaged goods. I'm damaged goods. You best walk on off and leave me buried in the woods, but I'll come back. That's a natural fact. You best walk on off and leave me, 'cause I am damaged goods. Dreaming dreams, holding hands for me didn't last long, unless you catch me doing something wrong. So I decided to join the other side, join my lonely shadow, and why run and hide? 'Cause I'm damaged goods. I'm damaged goods. You best walk on off and leave me buried in the woods, but I'll come back. That's a natural fact. You best walk on off and leave me, 'cause I am damaged goods. Tell me that you love me. Tell me that you need me, even when I don't know how. Tell me that I'm your honey, even when I don't have money. It's all a dream anyhow. Yeah. You best walk on off and leave me buried in the woods, but I'll come back. That's a natural fact. You best walk on off and leave me, 'cause I am damaged goods. 'Cause I am damaged goods. Because I am damaged goods. Because I am damaged goods. You see it, you hear it. Can do that anytime. See, I'm what they call a musicer. Now, that was a term that they gave musicians, black musicians who were former slaves after the Civil War. Just a little bit. Now, that means that I can play music anytime, anywhere, all day, every day. I don't need no paper or pen. Here, look here. What's your name, darling? Your name? No. Yeah. Say it again. Vanessa? Couldn't be Linda something. Just. I ain't scared of you. Vanessa. I met her in Philly. It sounds kind of silly, but that's the way my life will go on. I met Vanessa. She had it going on. Well, Vanessa was a professor of love that broke my heart. I met her in New York. My car broke down. She didn't care. She was nowhere around. I cried, Vanessa. Where have you gone? Oh, Vanessa the professor, what drugs you on? I went back to the bar. She was gone. All I had was my t-shirt on. Well, Vanessa, why'd you take my suitcase? Didn't even leave me a sweater to warm my face. That's what I'm talking about. Make music every day, all day. Y'all see it? What was that? Nighttime is the worst. Just when I start to exhale, middle of relaxing, pow, 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 pow. Shots. I lean back and I can feel the receding presence of death seeping all over Goodfella, Wilborn, Lillian, down Highway 70. And it leaves something in its wake, you know. A little bit of helplessness, a little bit of anger, and a heavy relief that it wasn't you or yours, at least tonight. You see, that feeling of death and those silences are part of the darker rivers of blood, sweat, and learned helplessness that we've been carrying for generations. You know, I look out my window, and I see the houses. I start to relax. This neighborhood is not just the hood. You know, I can still see the ghosts of the children that I used to play with when I was a kid. And I'm transported. You see, I didn't grow up knowing anything about the streets. Both my parents were home, and they worked hard. My dad worked for the post office. My mother was office manager for KATZ Radio downtown, and later created her own business. If you were in St. Louis during the 70s and some of the 60s, you remember some names like Bob Gibson, Bernie Hayes, Julius Hunter, let's see what else. Gentry Trotter. She started laughing. And Doug Easton. Hey, this is Doug Easton at KATZ Radio. Throwing a shout out to the Vashana in Walnut Park from Tim at Vashan. The new song is Stevie Wonder's new hit, If You Really Love Me. You know, from observing my mother, the people around her, I learned a lot about human nature. I learned about the struggle that black women had to go through to become independent business people during St. Louis at that time. From my dad, I learned about staying true to the family and getting things done on a daily basis no matter what. Because of my parents' incredible consistency, resilience, and faith, they created a wonderful foundation for me and my little brother that we still carry today. I mean, I'm talking about when we was younger, we would sit down to dinner, all four of us, every day at 6:30. And then, after that, there was homework. Well, for me and my brother, it was dinner. But that was okay. We were working it out. And then would come the invariable night when Mom, after finish doing her dishes, we'd get that call. Mark, Anthony. I hated that they used his name first. Mark, Anthony, Stanley, James Brown on. And we'd run downstairs, you know, happy for any break from our homework. Any break. Well, our homework pretty much consisted of taking our books out of our bags and pondering the great mystery of why, when we started the day with 10 number 2 lead pencils, we have one between us with a broken tip. These are things that we were thinking hard about. And we'd go and we would watch. We would watch. When back then, I didn't think it was a big deal. But when I got older, I realized it was a big deal. We didn't see anybody, you know, no black people on TV during those times. And every time we saw it, it was an event. And in the moments when we'd watch the gifted of our culture, like Aretha, Gladys Knight and the Pips, the Temptations, Flip Wilson, Red Fox. In those moments, when we were watching them, we were human. You know, in black culture, we absorb everything around us. And this absorbing, watching, and observing is called witnessing. Witnessing is how we survived. Witnessing is how we showed up for each other. Witnessing is how we exchange information, sometimes without using words. Ponder that. I could be listening to my mom and pop talk, and I could learn of the wonderful, sometimes wonderful news of the day and the opinions therein. Or when they would throw a party, I could learn something of the new dances that my parents and their friends tried to do. I never tried to dance. You wouldn't have wanted to see that. It'd have been awkward. But I just opted for me and my little bruh. We would just go in and, get a plate and just, put a little food, just a little, not a lot, And, while the parents were dancing, we would just get our food, just put a little bit on there, little snacks. And then, after we got a little bit of the food, we'd sneak out and watch TV all night. It was simple then. Life was good. Then we were sent to school. The first time that I heard the word nigger was from the adults around me, my cousins. You see, in every culture in America, there's a name for it, right? Every culture has a name or names. Every culture. And within that culture, the people that are part of that culture will call each other these bad names. Not to put each other down, but really to toughen each other up. And to prepare them for the moment when those names would be used against them in the real world. The first time that I heard and realized the word nigger was a weapon that would always eviscerate me was from my white friends. I was in the 3rd grade. And I had my crew. I had Stanley. I had Donald, Bill, Brian. They were all white. I didn't think of them that way. We used to play constantly. Well, one day at recess, we were outside, and we were throwing the ball back and forth. With that red dirty thing that we use for dodgeball and kickball? Well, we were throwing it back and forth and having fun. And then all of a sudden, I noticed that they weren't throwing it to me. I didn't know this game. If I was supposed to reach out and get it. And then they were laughing. And then I heard them singing some kind of weird rhyme. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. I didn't know what that meant. And after a while of trying to get the ball, I started to realize they were talking about me. I was fuzzy. So I just kept trying to get the ball. Finally, I got the ball, and then it got wrestled from me. And my friend said to me, "You're not getting the ball today, nigger." A deep hurt welled up inside of me, and tears started to come to my eyes. But I shut it down. Yep. Because this is the moment that Mommy and Daddy prepared us for. the moment when they were going to turn on you. The bell's ringing. I'm walking back, feeling heavy, eyes a little fuzzy. As soon as we get in, I go up to my homeroom teacher, Miss Johnson, big, tall, white lady. And I told her that one of my friends had called me a nigger. And she looked down upon me with all the confidence that she was getting ready to save me. And proceeded to turn me to the class. This is not what I expected, nor what I wanted. And she reached down and put her hand on my shoulder. And she said, "Now, class, Anthony has told me that somebody here called him a nigger. How many times must I tell you? A nigger is a very dirty person." So I headed back to my desk. Sure didn't feel right. And I started to sit down, and I was thinking to myself, after all she's just said, all of a sudden I didn't find it hard to forgive the guys. Because something in me realized that they learned that word from somewhere else. Somewhere where it was okay to call me and people that look like me nigger. It wasn't their fault. As I was contemplating, just thinking about these hard lessons, I could hear my music that I always hear in my head. I don't know what I'm going to do with this music. Well, one day I will. I just lean back and let it soothe me. And I accepted everything I learned that day, all the pain. And I just said to myself, okay. And I realized that everything that we've been taught, work hard, you get your reward, you're going to get a place at the table of that great flag that we pledge allegiance to every day, that you're going to get what's coming. All of these things that we learn, I knew and realized then was a lie. You know, inspiration protects children. Children's minds are incredibly resilient, powerful, and imaginative. Yet some adults feel it's their duty to pray, beat, or even teach the demon of their creative selves out of them so that they can come to their senses and get in line and sacrifice themselves later on the false altars of the real world. What do they get out of it? A life of quiet desperation and frustration that has become the mark and insignia of what is commonly called adulthood. But you know, one thing that inspiration does for the children, and there for all of us, teaches the children at the very beginning about holding on to an ideal and their wishes and living them. This is the enduring power of a wish. Wish I could grow wings and fly away. I wish I could paint another color of the day. I wish I could know where the angels go. Wish I could, why justice seems so slow. Do wishes really come true? Or we just play things of chance? While we sleep, time will get its due. Maybe we should just open our eyes and taste the dance. Wish I could. Wish I could turn a pebble into a mountain. I wish I could heal you from a crystal fountain. I wish I could put a war in a box. I wish I could hold the key to our locks. Do wishes really come true? Or are we just play things of chance? While we sleep, time will get its due. Or maybe we should just open our eyes and taste the dance. Wish I could. Wish I could. Your mind, close your eyes, you won't be blind. Just let your spirit tell you how. Words are easy, always cheap. It's time for you to take that leap into this thing called now. Wish I could know what is on your mind. Wish I could not be afraid of what I might find. Wish I could know where your arrow aims. Wish I could know why we must play these games. Do wishes really come true? Or are we just to play things of chance? While we sleep, time will get its due. Or maybe we should just open our eyes and taste the dance. Yeah, do wishes really come true? Or we just play things of chance? Or while we sleep, time will get its due. Maybe we should just open our eyes and taste the dance. Maybe we should just open our eyes and taste the dance. Maybe we should just open our eyes and taste the dance. Wish I could. Oh, wish I could. Wish I could. You know, the guitar and music were my constant companions during my Catholic high school years. Whenever I played the guitar, I'd go into this trance. Nothing like it. It seemed like the only time that I had any confidence in anything during that time was when I had a guitar in my hands. And I remember dealing in high school with the different levels of people. You know, in high school, you had your jocks, your nerds, your dweebs, your cheerleaders. You had the outliers. You had the people that didn't fit in anywhere. When in reality, I was kind of like that. And then I was also in the special group that the white kids would say, the niggers. And every day, I heard it was called nigger, just like it was a regular part of the experience of being alive. And you know, with music, nothing could take the place of music. My dad, once he saw that I was serious about music, well, he started telling me his stories, like watching Miles Davis during his heroin period play with his back to the audience in a dirty white suit, or the time he had this young brother from the projects who just loved Bird, alto saxophonist Charlie Parker. And when he found out that Bird did heroin, this young man decided that doing heroin was going to be his next level. And Dad said, well, he didn't sound the same after that. Couldn't understand him. Never heard from him again. Let me tell you, these stories scared the hell out of me, okay? Because there's no way I wanted to give up my music. Nothing was going to make me give up my music. I was lucky. An older white lady, her name was Dottie, she took me under her wing and started to take me around, you know, to the musical nightlife of St. Louis at the time. My mind was blown. I hadn't seen, you know, so much musical intensity. I mean, these cats, they played like they were in church. You hear me? These were sonic scientists of the highest order. And I got to meet them. People like bass master John Mixon, singer Mae Wheeler, trumpet master David Hines, saxophonist Oliver Sane, poet, painter, and saxophonist Oliver Lake, and pianist, educator, Peanuts Whalen. You know, when I met some of these people, I mean, they had their own vices, we all do, but they never pressured me to take drugs. Or they never tried to do the peer pressure commercial. That didn't happen in a jazz club. You know, it's like, stand over there, boy. That's about it. And so, you know, I was grateful for that time. I would sit there and watch them play, and I was learning a mile a minute, constantly, just learning. Then the next day, I was back at school. I was living the wonderful contradiction of being an invisible walking target because I didn't fight. I didn't fight. So I got the gift of them delivering their jokes about niggers and their welfare. Niggers can't hold a job. I'm paying taxes for niggers. I'm like, you're 15, whatever. I mean, I used to be intrigued. The only time I felt, confident or feel like I have any courage is when I had a guitar in my hands. But these kids, they walked around like they knew a secret I didn't know. And I didn't realize until I got older that I was right. Because high school was a mirror for everything that was going to happen to me. I mean, these kids, they would smoke pot, drop acid, sniff glue as it was being passed in art class, all in a single day. I was amazed. I was amazed they were still alive. And they equated themselves with 60s hippies culture. The only thing is, you see, they kept the cultural awareness of their grandparents and parents from the 40s and the 50s. Now, I can see the contradiction growing up, being around them. But it made me equate those feelings with marijuana. And it forever drove marijuana out of my head to even want to try. Because I didn't want to be them. To me, marijuana was a lie. I didn't need it. I had this. This took me everywhere I needed to go. But I'm grateful for the time now because after school, I would run home and I would practice. Practice harder and harder. I knew where I wanted to go. And I listened to inspiration. And inspiration told me that everything I heard was music. Classical, country, R&B, and then there was always jazz. One day I'm going to have to wash this. My mom always told me I got to wash my clothes. I have seen 100 men rise and just as many fall. I've watched them try to hold on to power that wasn't theirs at all. I have watched angels sigh as I live my younger days, as I struggle to hold on to the lessons that healed my way. So many times I'd see and understand, I never realized this could all come to an end. And now I am waiting to land, and I can hear my ancestors saying, there's a blessing at hand. I have seen tears on your young one's face. I've seen the pain and anguish of a man that was told to keep his place. Now I'm grateful for these seasons, the fall and the spring, 'cause I know right now that this will be the last song I sing. So many memories all fit in the palm of my hand. So many things can happen and you can never plan. And I guess now I've learned my lesson, ready to land. And I can see my ancestors saying, I can see my ancestors saying, I can see my ancestors saying, a blessing is at hand. Yep. There was a time when every time I went into the world, it seemed right with opportunity. I've seen many a miracle. I've also seen many a disappointment. But the ancestors never abandoned me. So now you have seen the curse of the birth of the curse breaker. You've seen the birth of the inner parts of himself. You've seen how tyranny can take root in the hearts of our young in words uttered by those that are supposed to protect them. And yet, through it all, sweet inspiration shone through. But now, I guess you could say my protege and us, well, we all at the crossroads now. For those of you who don't know, the crossroads has been sung about in the sacred music of the blues for generations. Why, it is the story of guitarist and singer Robert Johnson. It is said that he sold his soul to the devil in order to be a great musician. He was later poisoned by his girlfriend. I wonder how that worked out. Well, after the death of Robert Johnson, the crossroads began to become associated with the things of demons and devils. And then just to add something to the recipe, they took the descendants of the African slaves and put them in the same box. But in reality, the crossroads is a place of incredible possibilities. The crossroads is what can be overseen by our higher self. In Yoruba, that's called the Ori. Everybody's got an Ori. And everybody has a guardian. In Ifa, we have beings that have evolved from human to ancestor to higher light beings. These beings are called Orisha. The Orisha, that word means keeper of the head. They take care of your Ori and your guidance. Everyone has a godmother and a godfather in an Orisha. My father is a Legua. A Legua is the owner and keeper of the crossroads. So you see, I'm already hooked up. Now, a Legua is, if you wanted to pray, you would come to the altar and you would pray with your ancestors, and then you would call a Legua. A Legua is first and last fed. And then if he felt like it, he'd let you walk through your crossroads. He'd let you make your journey. A Legua is the opener and closer of the doors and ways. But if you weren't watchful, he could close the doors too, because he's a trickster. But a Legua closing the door sometimes is a protection, and sometimes a guidance to something better. It's time now. Well, it's time to bless the altar. Last lesson. Omi tutu, ana tutu, tutu ile, egun tutu, ori tutu, tutu lada ye. Translation of that prayer: fresh water, freshen my roads, freshen my house, freshen my ancestors, freshen my Ori, freshen my destiny. I have brought to earth the craft and skill of the griot ready to be passed on. I proclaim this chain of negative names and intentions to be broken. Ashe. Thank you. Ashe. O luola mataye vena do webati on se dira la fu na la kumu kio bisino. O luola mataye vena do teru watimba ni kuro nino in poruno basino mi yifumi wo sono vo. Ashe, ashe, ashe. I had to take me some libation too. Now you remember what we've been learning here today. This story ain't over, but my time is. I want you to remember. If you remember me, do so while you're having some rum. I'll be watching over each and every one of you. And remember, take care of one another. Don't mess it up any more than it already is. Remember, she's watching. Sweet inspiration. The way is already made. Ashe. OG. OG. Where you at, old dude? Where you at? You know, everything seemed like a battlefield around here. I remember you used to see children playing on lawns and under street lights. Now we got as dummies running red lights and stop signs and shooting each other over corners they don't own, going nowhere. Ain't got no fellowship. Nobody don't want to come unless you're going to give them some money. I ain't got no money. No money. No fellowship. No nothing. With the time I got left, hear me please. I'm so alone. I'm so alone. What I see all above is the only way to love. Yeah, I'm on my own. I'm trying to bless the journey that I'm on. Even in the night, Peace be still, wait until the dawn. Oh, I can't close my eyes. I can't close my eyes. I like to Jesus say, like Lazarus from the dead, won't apologize. I'm on my knees. I'm on my knees. Like Lazarus once said, good Lord, I'm risen from the dead. Hear me, please. Hear me, hear me. Where you at, OG? Dog, this ain't funny. Well, I guess he ain't here. You know, I heard something about OG when he was younger. I heard he liked to start some trouble.
What you want, fool?
OG, where you at, bruh? You know, I've been to the crossroads and all. All I saw was some rats. You know, I went down there, I looked at the moose. They been done closed it. I went down walking around there, and all I saw was this old lady in a rocking chair. And she tells me she want to get in my drawers. She scared me. But I tell you, my record company, they called me up, and they said that they're going to put a hold on my record. My record. As if they was with me when I wrote it and when I was sleeping in my car when I couldn't pay my rent. My record. And my manager, well, he said, Strang, we really love what you're doing, but unfortunately, we're going to have to put a hold on your record. You see, there's some outstanding issues happening with the payment for your musicians, for your studio, and for the engineer. We'll be taking that out of your advance. But the beautiful thing is that due to the agreement that you signed, well, you're exclusively signed to us for the next 5 years. So I'm looking forward to us continuing to work together. So everything is going to just be great. And remember, I'm going to be checking in on you. Okay? Good luck. That was 6 months ago, OG.
You only seeing what always was, little brother.
How you know?
There is no longer any need for you to do so.
What, you done moved somewhere? You moved to...
I've gone on, little brother. I've gone on.
You gone on? What, you dead now? Is that what we talking about? You gone on. After all that music and all the drinks, you call yourself teaching me all that mess? Hell, I ain't even learned your guitar style yet. What you mean you done moved on?
Little brother, you have always surpassed me, and I couldn't be more proud.
You never said that before. Why are you saying that now?
Because it's true. It is your time now.
I
to
know.
Take my place.
What? Take your place? What
It's
you
your
mean?
choice.
My choice? What you mean, my choice, OG? I was here when they built all of this. From the riverfront up to the Del Mar. I was here when that architect designed this city to make sure that we never made it anywhere near non-colored folk. Choice. I did everything they wanted me to do. I went to their schools. I prayed in their churches. Did you know that I have the second highest degree in the land? I did everything they told me to do. And they still called me nigger. Patience. Patience. Whole generations of people walking a sidewalk built by their own blood, sweat, and tears. Not by right, but by a provisional privilege. How's that for some big words, old man? The privilege being that we never resist with every fall of the whip, every fall of the fist. We resist it even when they redirect us where we're supposed to live or where we're supposed to vote. And then after all of this acceptance, it's held before us like a rotten carrot on a string. And I'm the biggest fool because I'm the one who laid my gift at the feet of fools. Maybe that's why I can't get no sleep. Ancestors talking in my head. Well, I hope that they be blessing me because I see red. Now I'm of a mind to change things around. Break these chains and claim my ground. I'm gonna walk this road. Hear what I say. I got my light burning bright, so don't get in my way. The preacher is preaching. Our heads bowed low. Careful whispers, well, it's all for show. I see raised hands in the sweat-kissed air. 'Cause I know when they walk outside, they'll show no mercy there. Now I'm of a mind to change things around and break these chains and claim my ground. I'ma walk this road. Better hear what I say. I've got my light burning right, so don't get in my way. I got my light burning bright, so don't get in my way. Don't get in my way. Don't get in my way. Don't get in my way.
As long as we believe that acceptance and the freedom to walk this world is something to be given to us, It can always be taken away at the will of those we consider to be the keepers. It never comes, brother, and it never will.
What you know about it, old man?
You said that you are of a mind. What mind, young warrior? The mind of the angry young man enslaved to the identity of a color and destructive ancestral contracts, or the mind of who you really are?
Who am I, old man? Who am I?
What if I told you that you are exactly where you're supposed to be? What if I told you that what you are seeking is seeking you? What if I told you that your music was your prayers and that they were heard?
I'd say that you was stone cold crazy.
Because you were born strong enough to carry the light. What if I told you that my path was never your path, and the right now, the present moment has always been your time to choose, to answer the call of your ancestors and the life force that has resonated within you, within the very melanin in your skin since before the dawn of time? I said it before. You have a choice.
What am I going to do? I'm going to run around hoping, going broke while they make money? You know what? If I remember correctly, I am a musicer. I can make this music all day, every day. Ain't nothing. I'm not missing a damn thing. I'm not missing a damn thing. They made me sign that contract to bury me. So, I'm going to stay buried. And then I'm going to rise up through that concrete like Lazarus. Only problem is somebody's going to have to walk that path. Somebody's going to have to break it through. For the others that are surely going to follow. That's me. He done left his hat for me. Oh. Well, the jury gonna be out on this one. Now I remember him having he would do his words. And he'd do his special words. All kinds of stuff would happen. I don't want no stuff happening. Pay my respects. Okay. Alua autumn. Ati aye. Ran out away while teal. On say dida el funrun kio bisindu. Alu ado mate aye rana de terwatimba ni kodo nino imperano basino mi fume was sonagwo. I say. Oh, here we go with this here. I believe, receive, and create. Well, Guess I can have a little bit of libation. That was good. What? Don't judge me. Oh, look what he done did. Oh, she real ugly, real ugly. Okay. OG, you know, with you being dead and all, how come I can still hear you?
That be the way of things. Something I learned from a young sage I once knew.
Uh-huh. Sound like you've been talking to that inspiration chick again. Well, that was heavy. I guess you could say I'm taking up a different road now. But I won't be taking this journey alone. Y'all gonna be with me. OG.
What now?
Thank you, old man.
Nah, trueborn. Thank you. I bless your way.
Now the light has lifted, the ancestors have gifted. I got the demon thrown away. He's gone to another day. I put him in the cocoa ground. What is this thing that I feel? The melanin in my skin, the power is real, and I say rivers of light, it runs through me. Or rivers of night, it runs through me. Rivers of voices, it runs through me. I can still hear my ancestors' voices. It runs through. It runs through me. Now y'all sang this with me, right? It runs through me. It runs through me. Sing it for your soul. It runs through me. Sing it for those who've gone. It runs through me. Sing it for your children. It runs through me. Sing it for your future. It runs through me. Hey, it runs through me. It runs through me. It runs through me. Remember, the way is already made. She be watching. Bless you all. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to thank my team. Really? See, this is what I've been talking about. That's my brother. You could have brought me some chunky monkey ice cream or something. You're going to bring me some flowers. I'd like to thank my sound man up there, Tim Albert. I'd like to thank my wonderful photographer, Sharon Garner. And my theatrical consultant, Lisa Campbell Albert. And guitarist on wonderful video. I'm hoping it's going to be wonderful. I know it will be. And I'm Anthony Michael Peterson, also known as Trueborn. You could look for me on the schedule at the Venice Cafe. I can't believe you did this with the flowers. I just don't know what am I supposed to do? You want home from? She don't even want them. That's not even right. But thank you. I'd also like to thank another part of my team, my parents, especially my mother, who helped design this. It was designed by Doris Peterson. And my brother, Mark, who, I don't even know what to say about this, but kept my guitars in tune. My dad, who paid for all the guitar lessons. You all have a really blessed night. Thank you so much for coming. This won't be the last time that we do this. Thank you. Thank you very much.